Hi, it's the Rawesome Vegan Gal here, and I'm holding up some of the products again from Eden Foods. And this is part 2 of Superfoods from the Sea, where I'm going to talk to you how to use some of these products and what you can make with them. And I already actually made something with them, and I'm going to show you how to make a couple things. And also, this is the t-shirt I showed you last time. I'm actually wearing it backwards so you can actually see what it says. It says organic agriculture will change everything. And there's their nice logo. So, what I'm going to do today, first of all, is I have this lovely apron, which I got a long time ago at an expo, also from Eden. So I'm going to put that on, since I'm in the kitchen. And last week, I was not able to talk to you about kombu. So I'm going to talk to you about kombu just for a couple minutes. Let me find my kombu here. We did not have that. So the kombu sea vegetable is from the Hokkaido island in Japan, and it's hand-harvested, sun-dried, and it has a unique flavor, smooth texture. It's used for different purposes, and it's, let me see what I can tell you. It's contains glutamic acid, which is the main ingredient in MSG, but this is not MSG. And MSG was actually originally synthesized from kombu, but today they chemically synthesize from molasses. And there are no side effects from the natural MSG. In fact, it has a stimulating effect on the taste buds and enhances the flavors of many foods. Glutamic acid softens the fiber in foods. So that's why, one of the ways you would use kombu is in cooking with beans, or even if you like with vegetables. Another thing that's fun to do with kombu is you can make chips out of them, put them in the oven, or if you like to dehydrate them, and if you soak them, then you can also put some kind of something on them to give it a flavor, and then put them in the oven. Now they would bake up really fast, so you put it on the lowest temperature, and then check it and take it out pretty fast. You don't want to leave it in there too long. It's known to cleanse and strengthen the intestines, and in traditional Japanese cooking, they do something, they make a broth with it, and with some soy sauce. It's rich in iodine, and it's called the goiter stick in China, because goiter, it has to do with iodine deficiency. It's also used to regulate blood pressure, for weight loss, alleviate kidney, reproductive, and circulatory and nervous problems. So that's a little bit more about kombu, since I wasn't able to tell you about it last week. So what I'm going to do is a couple things. So with 5 of the products here, I'm going to soak them for you to see the difference in how they look dried and how they look when they're soaked. They expand quite a bit. So I have the Mekabu, the Kombu, the Arame, the Hijiki, and the Wakame. And then I'm going to give you some ideas with what you can do with them. So now the Mekabu, which is these little ones, if you remember these kind of little fronds, this has actually a nice Ziploc tab to it. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to start with the one that takes the longest to soak. This says soak for 10 minutes. Sometimes people soak it longer, because with these seaweeds, you can actually use them raw if you want. If you don't want to cook with them, if you want to just use them in a salad or in some kind of a raw soup or something like that, you can do that as long as you soak them long enough and they're soft. So this one says to soak for 10 minutes in warm water. Rinse and drain. Now, the soaking water is also something that some people say is okay to use. I personally don't use it because it's high in maybe too much sodium. So what you can do is you could strain it out in a jar and put it on your plants, or on if you have a vegetable garden, it gives it a lot of nice minerals. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to just put a little in a container and show you what it looks like without being soaked, and then how much it expands. This expands so much. So I'm going to take one of my bowls here and put some in here, and then show it to you. Show you what it looks like. And I'm not going to put a lot. I'm just going to put enough to just cover the bottom of this bowl, because I'm not actually going to be making anything with it today. I'm just going to show you how much it expands. And then I have these nice clips here. This is also from Eden, to clip the package so that it stays closed. So this is one of their clips, and keep that secure. So let me show you what the Hijiki looks like. You can see that. Okay, and that's without water. Now I'm going to put, without it being soaked. Now I'm going to soak it I'm going to put enough water just to cover it. Doesn't need that much, but you'll notice if you use a lot more of it and the water starts to absorb, you may need to use more water. Then I'm going to cover that one. The next one I'm going to do to soak is actually the kombu. Now the reason why I'm going to do the kombu next instead of the arame, which actually soaks it very quick, is I'm going to do something with the kombu raw. So I want to just show you what that looks like. And I'm going to take a nice piece of it and I'm going to make like a little roll with it. So I'm going to take this nice big piece and let it soften. This may take longer so that it's edible. So I'm going to take one of my bigger bowls here. And I do not want to cut this. I want to keep it. Now, if you're going to cook with beans, you'd only use a small piece and rinse it, and then throw it in with your beans or your vegetables. But I want to keep this like this because I want to be able to roll it. So I'm going to put it in just one of my big bowls here. And then what I'm going to do is as the water absorbs it, I'm just going to push it down into the bowl. So I'm not going to fill up the bowl with water. I'm just going to put some and then let that soften. And as it softens and becomes more pliable, I'll be able to get it down more into the water. So we'll leave that next. Okay, and then the next one I'm going to do, I'm going to get a clip for the kombu. Actually, this one I don't know if it'll clip as well. I have some more clips here from Eden. Thank you for providing everything for me. Damien and Amanda and all the rest of the crew at Eden Foods. So this one doesn't really close as well, but that'll do. So the next one I'm going to do the Arame or Arame. And this one says soak for only 5 minutes. And what can you do with Arame? So many things, just like Hijiki. Hijiki and Arame can be used both the same way. Again, like I said, you could soak it. I've made coleslaw, a coleslaw salad with it, using it raw, just soaked. And soften up, and the arame softens up very quickly. You can throw it in a stew, you can put it in a salad, you can, let's see what else I have, interesting ideas for using it. You can add it with beans, with tempeh, put it in soups, so there's many different ways you could use it. And, you know, it provides a lot of nourishment. So I'm just going to, again, take a little in one of these bowls. And just to show you what it looks like. I showed it to you in the package last time, but I didn't take it out to show you. So they look like little fine hairs, like fine hair noodles. So I'm just going to, again, take enough just to cover the bottom. And then, like I said, I'll show it to you once it's soaking for a while so that it absorbs some of the liquid, and to show you what it looks like. So I've got some more clips here. I'm going to find them. So I'm going to check on the kombu to see if that's softening up yet. I'm going to put another clip on our arame. So it is starting to get a little softer. So what I'm going to do is just push it down into the water. Now I can actually bend it. Oops, sorry, my face is covering here. Now I could actually bend it in half in the water, if you could see that, so that I didn't actually break it. I just wanted it to stay that whole long piece. So I'm going to add some water now to the arame and let that soak and cover it up. Okay, and the next one that I'm going to do here is going to be the wakame. So I'll open that one up. Now wakame is really versatile too. It can be it can use raw. I've made cucumber wakame salad with it. You can put it in soup. Traditionally it's used in like a miso soup, and here's what it looks like. And it also softens up quite quickly. It says it takes here like 5 minutes when you soak it. You can put it in casseroles, soups, stews, vegetable dishes, just about anything. Let's see what else, if I have any other ideas here from some of my papers. Yeah, serve it raw. Like I said, miso soup is traditionally how it's used. So I'm just going to take, so here's how it comes. I broke off a small piece, but it comes in these long strips. So I'm just going to break off some. Break off a little more. and then you'll just see how it expands. Now this one too, the clips don't fit on as well, but we'll try to get it on as best we can because there's a lot in the package. I think it's a little bit too much for the clip right now. So another idea would be for them to make them all Ziploc. So we're just going to leave that for now since the clip is not going to actually go on properly. So I'm going to add some water to the Wakame or Wakame and let that soak. So that's the next one. And then I'm going to just pile them up here. The next one I'm going to do to show you is that little one here. Let's see, where was that? The Mekabu, which is another Wakame sporophyll vegetable. So they're little tiny, even more hair-like than the Arame, much even smaller. You can barely see them. And this one, it says only soak, says soak for 10 minutes. They say in hot water, but I just do it in room temperature water. So I'm going to take another little dish here and put some in. Just to cover the bottom, just so you could see the difference in how it looks once it's soaked. So that's dry. And this one has a nice Ziploc on it already. So again, I'm going to put some water in here. Now with this, I don't have an actual cover. So what comes in handy, what Eden sent me as well, is some of their sushi mats. So let me find that here. So this is their sushi mat. This is their sushi mat. And it's bound with cotton string. So sushi mats are usually traditionally used for making sushi. But you can also use them to cover things. You know, if you have a bowl that you're soaking something and you don't want particulates to get into it, or if you're cooling a pot or cooling something in a bowl, so you can just cover it like this. So it's a very versatile thing. Besides for making sushi, of course, you use it to help you roll the nori. So I'm going to cover that for the Mekabu. So now that we have everything soaking, the kombu is actually expanding quite a bit. You can see that. I mean, it's still the same size, but it's softening up and it's soaking up quite a bit of the water. So while that's happening, I'm actually going to show you what I made. So I made a canton, and a very different type of canton than you'd normally see. Most people do canton with fruit juice, and I did it with some fruit, but I wanted to do something a little different. So you can call this, what was I going to call it? Give me a beat, or the beat goes on, because it has beets in it, and the color is really interesting. Let me show you how it came out. It has this beautiful red color, and here's the bottom, if you could see that. I put actually tangerine, and I'll show you that. I put tangerine, and I sliced up some kumquat, and then I used a beet in slices. So now what I'm going to try to do, attempt to do is take it out so it's like a canton pie. Now what I did was I boiled the water. I actually used 2 tablespoons of the canton flakes, which are right here. Instead of 4 tablespoons, I did a half a recipe, so I did 2 cups of water. I did not use fruit juice, I just used water. And then I added some ginger powder and some cinnamon. Here I have some cinnamon sticks. I prefer to use the whole sticks, and then I broke them up into pieces and put them in the water as it was boiling. Once it boiled, I simmered it for 5 minutes so the flakes dissolve. Then I already placed the fruit into this dish, which is 24 ounces. And I did not fill the fruit up to the top, like you could do that. And then I put the liquid on top of the fruit. I arranged it, like I said, in a kind of a pretty flower, if you could see that from the bottom. And I'll cut it out to show you. And then what I did was I let it cool using one of the sushi mats covered over it. After it was cool enough, I put it in the fridge because it has to gel. So once you put it in the fridge, it does gel pretty quickly. So, but again, canton you can do with anything. I've seen people do it with vegetables, with beans. The sky's the limit what you could do with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to cut it around and see if it's going to stay, and then flip it over onto a plate. And then you can actually see what the other side looks like. So I thought it would be interesting to use beets. I also basically used what I had at home. I I have apples, but I decided it would be more fun to do it with something that most people don't do it with. So you want to make sure you cut it around perfectly so that you can actually pop it out. That's the whole idea, is to flip it over. Kind of like it looks like a pie. So I'm going to turn it over on the plate. Here I have a glass plate, and let's see. Oh, came out perfect. Almost perfect. So here's what it looks like. You can see that. It actually looks really pretty. You can see the orange. Now I don't think I could turn it sideways, or maybe I can, otherwise it might pop out. You can see that. So, what's the fun part of doing this is actually trying what you make. So I'm going to cut a piece and actually show you what it looks like. Since it's a pie, I'm going to take a slice. I'm going to have a slice of the Canton. And let's see, I think it got a little mushy now. Let's see how to show this to you. I could actually put it in this bowl. And actually coming apart a little. And it's hard to see because it's got a lot of the purple from the beets. The beets turned it purple, so it actually kind of came apart a little here. But I'm going to try it to let you know what I think. Wow, it's got a nice tangy flavor from the orange. And the beets I did into strips, like that. And the beets are still actually crunchy. So, it actually has a nice flavor from the orange and the ginger too. Now the kumquats I left the skin on and just took the seeds out. So that's really nice. Very different type of a Canton than you'd usually make. So now that that's done, I'm going to start looking at some of the things that we soaked to see how they look differently than when we started. So let's take a look at the Hijiki first. Remember what that looked like, if you remember from the beginning. So it's expanded quite a bit. You can see it's already up to here from the water. You can see that from the bottom. And then the Arame too, it's expanded quite a bit as well. You can see that. Remember how dry it was, and now it's expanded. And then the Wakame as well. Here's the Wakame in the bowl. You can see that. And then the Kombu is absorbing quite a bit of the water. See, it's nice. And I want it to be softer, so I might let this soak a little bit longer. And then we have the Mekabu, which also has expanded quite a bit. Now, the other thing we have as well is the Nori. So I'm going to do a non-traditional roll, because I'm not going to use rice today. So I'm still going to call it a Nori roll, but it's going to be without rice. So I'm just going to move our containers away here and get the cutting board. So I'm going to use one of the Noris that they gave me, which is the raw Nori. This is not the roasted one. I have the roasted one here, which is a greener color. But I'm going to use this one, so I'm going to open this package up. Find my scissor. Moving around. So instead of using rice, rice is what's sticky to keep it around it. I'm going to do something a little bit different. So these Nori sheets are actually folded. You can see they're black. So I'm just going to take this one off. So I'm going to use a piece of celery. I came up with this idea. Use a piece of celery in the middle. And then I'm going to put some stuff. Here's my celery. So I'm going to put that in the middle of the thing here and then kind of wrap it around that. So I'm going to try to put all the other ingredients within the celery and then roll it. So let me get a knife here so I can cut away the ends. And the same thing with the kombu. If you want to make a little kombu wrap, you can put vegetables in there too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the celery to fit the size of the Nori sheet. And then place that in the middle here. So now what am I going to use to fill it? I have some sprouts. I have just a little bit of some broccoli sprouts here. And then I also have some, I think these are red alfalfa sprouts. So I'm going to put that as well. onto the celery. Okay, just a little bit. Then what I have is I made a spread actually using the black-eyed peas from Eden Foods, and hopefully in the future I'll do some a video on their bean products. So I made a spread with that, my own spread. What I'm going to do actually, I decided would be better is to take the sprouts off and spread some of this first onto the celery stalk, like in the middle as a spread. Now if you don't have like this type of spread, you can actually use some things like tahini, or you can use, I have a nice product here from a company called Foods Alive that I review their products. They have their hemp seed butter. You can spread that in the middle. It's just for something to give it a nice flavor. So here what I did was I just put the spread into the celery. It's better to do that first before you do the sprouts. So now I'm going to put the sprouts back in the middle. And if they fall over the nori too, that's okay. Then I have some parsley here. I'm just going to kind of break off the end here and just fit it into the middle. And you could take a couple of pieces of parsley if you like. And then what I have is some of my own homemade sauerkraut. I actually did a video on how to make it. It's my purple cabbage sauerkraut. So I'm going to put some of that in the middle for flavor. Right onto the celery, if it'll stay. Just a little bit. Excuse my hands. This is something where you use your hands more to make the dish. And then you can add other things. You can add carrot sticks. You can add, if you like, scallion. If you like pepper, cucumber. You could do avocado. You could do so many different things. So this is what mine is going to look like. If you could see that with the celery. If I can get it in the camera the right angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this. Now if you want to use the sushi mat as a guide, you can. Just for argument's sake, so that you see, I don't know if you could see how it's done, but what I would do is just roll the mat under the nori and then keep turning it until it rolls up. And at the end, whoops, at the end, you would put a little water on the end of the mat I'm saying the end of the nori to seal it up. So I took away the mat because it wasn't really doing anything for me. So I'm just rolling it up, and I'm taking just a little water actually from the kombu here. Now when you do it traditionally with rice, it's going to be very sticky. So here's my little wrap. It's a lot, like I said, it's a lot different than the traditional ones. And so normally you would want to make sure that your knife is wet because the rice will be sticky on it, but since I'm not using that, it's not as much of an issue. So here you can see it's actually quite pretty. If you look inside, and if you had things like carrot, it would give it even a little more color than that. So that's actually really pretty. And I'm going to give it a taste to see how it is. That tastes really nice. I'm going to cut another piece so you can see what it looks like. So that's really good. Now let's take a final look at the other seaweeds, and I'm actually going to try them real quick. So this is the Mekabu, and it looks really soft and kind of gooey. Let me see how it tastes. It's definitely edible. And then, meaning I could use it like that. And then this is the Arame that's already been soaked. That's also soft enough to be used. And then, let's see how our Hijiki is. So here's the Hijiki already soaked. You can see that. I'm going to try that as well. And that has a stronger flavor, but I really like it. And then I have the Wakame over here, which is really nice. Here, look how much it's expanded. You didn't realize how much of a piece it was. Now, the Wakame has an inner rib that sometimes needs more soaking, but that seems ready to me. Now, let's see if our kombu is soft enough. Might be a little chewy, but you can do the same thing that I did with the nori. We could take our celery. So I'm going to do that real quick here. before I end this video. I'm going to put the celery in the middle, put some of this spread that I have here, my black eyed pea spread. And let's see, a little bit of sprouts. And some little bit of parsley. And a little bit of the sauerkraut. And then I'm going to roll it up. And we're going to have a little kombu roll. So what I do is I put the kombu over it and then tuck it under. And then I'm going to try to cut this and see if it's actually going to cut. I don't know how well it'll cut because let's see if it's soft enough. Yeah, it cuts pretty good. So that looks really pretty. There's the kombu roll, if you could see that in there. Now I'm going to take a taste and hopefully it's actually edible enough, meaning soft enough for me to chew it. It is a little chewy, so I would let that soak a lot longer if you want to make little wraps out of them. You just have to chew it longer, but if you let it soften up really good, it'll actually work quite well. So that's some ideas for you what to make. Let me just go through the products again. We have our nori, raw, and our toasted nori, which I did not use this time. And then I have the arame, and the agar flakes, and the Mekabu. And Mekabu can be used also in a salad, anything like that. It's really very versatile. The Wakame, because I didn't mention what to do with that. And then I have the Hijiki as well over here. And then finally the Kombu. So that's going to be it for today for the Eden Foods products, and hopefully I'll have more videos coming up to share with you about some of their other products. And I thank you for watching. It's the Rawesome Vegan Gal.